Oh, just a banger of a song coming in
I mean,
today.
just so good. I mean,
Wow.
I can't believe it. It's like a
Oh.
fine wine, just gets better with age every
It
time.
does. We are back. We're back tonight with a special double episode.
What?
Mostly because I haven't edited the last one yet. So
Oh, okay. So it'll run together. Yep.
Yeah.
Our editing team has just been slammed. Like, we're just pumping out so much content. It's hard to keep
we've
up.
Got some good stuff coming. So hey, cheers.
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 Good to have everyone back. With us today, as always, Kyle. Looking good, Kyle. I like that shirt as well. So
Thank you,
man.
Trying to show off as much of the chest hair I have, but I'm doing great.
Have to mark that explicit button on this one.
I'm thrilled. Always happy to be here with you guys. Ready to rock.
And as always, the third top two in this podcast. Maybe I don't want to offend Kyle on the number one, but
hey, that's
Tyler,
all right. He's earned
what's
it.
Going on, man?
Oh, no, not much. I'm happy. We were off a week, and I'm happy that we're back in the studio.
Yeah, of course, I'm Luke, and we got a fun-filled episode today. So the first thing I'm going to do is rip up what I told you guys that we're recording about tonight, and we're just going off the cuff, all right?
Oh no.
Oh, fuck.
But I did hear on my way, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Snow days. So do you remember snow days growing up? I wanted to get, of course, Kyle, you and I went to the same high school. Tyler, I wanted to hear a little bit about your experiences growing up, but your memories of snow days and what you would do on a snow day.
Yeah, sure. My first question, as the resident father in the room, do they do snow days anymore when they're set up to do remote most of the time anyway?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. My kids aren't in school yet. They're all at crying age, if you can hear them in the other room.
I think they do try to utilize those e-learning days as often as they can. But
man, that sucks. That sucks for them. But
yeah, but I think from like what I've experienced with my nieces and nephews talking about it, like when they do an e-learning day, it's like 2 hours of work and then they're just done. So yeah, so it's basically is a snow day.
Easy.
Yeah.
So they were like few and far between. I feel like in high school we had 3 and they were consecutive days. And that was the only time my whole high school, because there was like an ice storm and there's like that much of ice on the ground just all over the state. Like can't be in. I don't know when that was, like 8 years ago or something.
That makes sense. Probably a lot easier to get those roads plowed in the middle of the city than it was for us, Luke, out in the middle of nowhere. So
I was going to ask, Tyler, can you say where you went to high school at?
I went to Bishop Chatard.
Okay, so that was kind of my question, is if you guys even had snow days. So I remember the ice day that you're talking about. I can get back to that. Yeah. But even when I was there, I feel like they got softer after I was in high school, because we didn't get near as many as I hoped for. But Kyle's right. Like we just had 10 inches of snow, and literally to get out like on the road, I was the only car. Like I was the only car until I get to a main road.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of wild.
My dad, one of the tractors he has like a bucket on it. He just always ends up shoveling like our dead end road. So because like the county just never gets to it, so he just does it. So
I mean, to be fair, the county doesn't normally get to the main roads. I mean,
right.
Well, what's interesting, I would be 30 minutes to school. Or like my drive was like 30 minutes. And so I'm in like I think it's the same county, but it's a different area of town. And so there'd be an ice or snow, whatever it is. And we'd call and be like, really? Like, no, like there's nothing. And they're like, hey, you chose to live that far away. Like you drive through it. And I'm like, the conditions over here, like,
yeah,
I'm going to be like, there was one time it took me like 3 hours to get to school. And when I got there, like, that's unexcused. And I was like, what are we doing here? So
I guess I obviously don't know how it works for you, but there's one Catholic high school in our area, Oldenburg Academy. And I know that their rule is like, if you grew up, like you follow whatever your like hometown rule is. Like if you have to drive like to Oldenburg, but you live in a different county, like if that county was under a 2-hour delay or a snow day, you got to stay home even if Oldenburg wasn't. So
this is something that I wish I had a time machine. That was not the case now. So I don't really, and I think on those whatever those snow days were, I think we just, when they said don't go outside, we were outside just like sliding around on the ice,
Yes.
and that was about it.
Yes.
Trying to walk on the creek and fall in, those things.
Yeah, that's our work policy now, Kyle, is if your county is, but now everybody works from home. It's kind of like the e-learning. That's horrible because there was nothing better than a snow day. So my mom actually babysat back then. So if there was a snow day, all the neighbors would just flock to our house. So it was kind of a party. But
Yeah.
I remember one of my best memories every snow day when I was younger. So I wanna get into memories, and I'll kick it off. I used to be able to knock out like a season of Madden on a snow day. Like I would just,
Yes.
I would wake up, I would start playing Madden, I would maybe stop to eat lunch, and then I would keep playing Madden, and I knocked that out, and it was so fun. Snow days for me were big PlayStation days. PlayStation OG probably back then.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Tons of video gaming. Probably a little sleeping in. I was not really a morning guy in high school. I didn't really become a morning person until I joined the real world. But yeah, so I would always take the opportunity to sleep in. I'm sure I did that. Always try to get out in the snow. Obviously it was a snow day. It was a little hard driving around sometimes. Sometimes I just go out and hang out in the snow and just whatever, see what I could do, build a snowman or something. But for some reason, I always just love, like we have a wood burning stove, like in my parents' house. And so that thing got hot. And like, that's what we used to heat the home. So I always loved it. It always fascinated me. Like I'd still probably do it to this day. You just take a snowball and go huck it on the hot iron and it just sizzles away. And I'm always just astounded at how fast that snow melts. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if the roads were good enough, or else just like everyone were like, you had a friend who had a truck, so once you could drive, you just tell him like, "Hey, come pick us all up, and we'll go drive around." So,
Go drift busting.
yes.
I will say during that said ice storm, back to that ice storm because that's the only one memory I have. We did go on a 32 game winning streak in Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox Live, which is like my team of 6 of us. Everybody knew their role. It was controlled, and on the last day, like some kid, like our best player, was like, "I can't play tonight." We're like, "Well, that's too bad because we're going for 40," and then we lost the next game. It was heartbreaking, just heartbreaking. That's my fondest memory of that snow day. Was we just went on an absolute tear, just playing all day and all night.
Dude, I think I remember this ice storm as well, because I remember like I was gonna go somewhere. Like I think it was the first time I'd ever experienced an ice storm. I was like, oh, well, everything's probably just a little slick. It'll be fine. So I was like, yeah, I was gonna go meet somebody because like we had the day off of school. And I was like, yeah, I can make it. My car is front wheel drive. I'll just take it slow. I took one step out the door on my parents' porch and slipped off the porch and fell on my ass. And I was like, nope, I'm staying here. I am not going a step further. I literally did 1 foot out the door. The second foot hadn't even hit the porch, and I was sliding off of it.
Well, they said don't go on the roads. They're like, you're not supposed to be driving. And I worked for a company that delivered like the snow melt, ice melt, salt. And so they called and we're like on the Sunday whenever it like started, we're like, hey, like we need to get out there and get these deliveries out. Like, can you come? And I was like, didn't they say like nobody's allowed to drive? And they're like, well, it's like emergency. And there's nobody on the road, and the dude's wearing a flatbed, and I'm just like riding with the truck driver, and he's like, you ever seen ice road truckers? And he's just like making the thing like I'm looking behind me and the flatbed's just like swinging.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus.
Oh yeah, it is. Like that's the thing. Like driving in the snow is fun. It's just having to be around other people driving in the snow that makes it dangerous.
Exactly.
Like if you're the only one out there, it's a ton of fun. It's
I vividly remember this same ice storm, and we had to park outside. I mean, my parents don't even have a garage; they have a carport, and my car had so much ice on it that, like, you would go out there with a scraper and it wouldn't even budge. And so you had to start the car, and then I bet my car ran for almost an hour, probably 45 minutes. And at that point, it just all like melted, and then a sheet of ice just slid off the windshield. It was wild. So yeah, a lot of snow around here. It's finally melting. So yeah, we got between 10 and 12 inches of snow, 0 temperatures, and the next week it's 60 degrees.
It's great.
Melted.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense.
I know.
Next thing I want to jump into, it is now officially Lent. We kind of missed our Lenten week with our week off. We took the week off to pray. And I know, Tyler, you always have a big Monday, and you were traveling this time. So I wanted to talk about if you did anything for Big Monday, did anything for Fat Tuesday, and then did anybody give anything up this year?
Yeah, Kyle, do you want to start? You want me to go first? What do you?
You go right ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna look up. So I was on Big Monday, as you know, if you listen to the other podcast. Big Monday is an annual celebration of fast food, and because that's what I typically give up for Lent, it's a big part of my life. So it's it's a big sacrifice. I was traveling to Iowa, and I'm with an intern, want to make a good impression. You can get anything you want to eat, and she says, "You choose." And I made a comment about a Wendy's billboard along the way, and she's like, "Ooh, Wendy's does sound good." And I was like,
Yes.
"We're in business." And I said, "Actually," she was like, "Look, can you look up on your map if there's one coming up?" I was like, "There's one coming up. I know where it is."
Honestly, I go to that one every Iowa trip. I know this Wendy's well.
And so it's at I-80, the world's largest truck stop. I-80.
Nice.
There's like a barber shop, a movie theater, a spa, showers. There might be a hotel in there. It's like a food court. It's basically a mall, but it's a truck stop. And they have Wendy's, and I'm with an intern, and it's Big Monday, so I had to have her take a picture with me. Here's a picture of us with the
beautiful.
Nice. Veteran move on her part. She changed the Baconator fry or the fries with her 4 for $4 to Baconator fries, no extra cost.
What?
And
you can do
really
that?
Special, apparently, for Big Monday. Maybe it was a Big Monday.
Maybe they knew the occasion. They knew you were rolling into town. It's okay.
It could be.
Big Monday's here. Big Monday's here, guys.
So I just asked her. I said, "Can you let me soak this in for a moment?" And I sat with my food, said a little prayer, and then I ate my Wendy's and I went on my way. So that's how I spent Big Monday.
Nice. So no fast food, right?
No fast food for the next 47 days, whatever it is.
That's right. You're not one of those people who does it on Sundays. You're hardcore.
Hardcore. And here's the beautiful thing. Easter is my birthday this year. So
nice.
Yeah.
So we're eating lots of fast food on Easter.
Might be called Big Easter by the end.
Yeah, I didn't really do too much for Big Monday or Fat Tuesday. Still trying to decide if I'm doing something up for Lent. I haven't been a very good Catholic. I think I'm just going to try to not eat after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Depends on the day. We'll see.
Just see.
No eating right before bed. That's what I'll say mine is.
It's fair.
Unless maybe the listeners have something good I should give up for Lent. Let me know. Can't be alcohol. Tried that last year. Sucked. Never going to do that again. To anyone ever thinking about stopping drinking for a dry January or sober October, it'll be the worst choice you ever make. You don't feel any better and you're just sober. So don't ever do it.
And your friend will try and pick up the slack and drink for you both, and then he'll end up on the floor the next day. And
yeah, it happens.
Hypothetically.
You don't want to do that to your friend.
Kyle, I vividly remember you giving up alcohol last year, and I was shocked. And we were podcasting, and I was shocked. And I don't even think that we had talked about it. We just got on to another podcast, and you were drinking, and I'm like, Kyle, what's going on? You're like, COVID took everything away from me. It's not taking alcohol away.
It did. I was doing fine until the March Madness got canceled. And I was like, fuck it. If it's taking basketball, it's not taking alcohol too. I'm drinking if there's no March Madness.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I am right, Kyle. If you want to join in on. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Do you have something?
I was just going to tell Kyle if he wanted to join, and I like to give something up and then also do something. So I'm going to be going to church every week now. So if you want to try and get in on that, Kyle, we can work you in.
Okay.
If there's time.
Text me Sunday. See how I feel. Or are you a Saturday night crowd?
Both. I do both. Whatever I can fit it in.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
See, the Saturday night crowd is clutch because, around here it's early enough. You're done. Yeah. Well, now you can't do anything. It starts at 4:30. You're done at 5. I'm not even kidding. And then you have your whole night, and then you can still party and not have to worry about getting up on Sunday. Well, I have to get up. I'm a responsible father, of course.
See, the problem with Saturday is sometimes it sounds great, but sometimes I have those Saturdays where I start drinking at like 1 p.m. and then I'm like, well, I don't know if I should go to church now.
Wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be right if I went to church like this.
Right.
Padre, you got any extra wine in the back?
Vino Padre.
Like, I brought my own, actually. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
Just whip out a flask and cheers them.
Speaking of boozing, the new world record for blood alcohol content was just set just this week. Somebody from Oregon, I believe, came in at an astonishing 0.778. He was arrested. Yeah, he was in trouble. But so I was reading
Is it like 0.4 supposed to be like legally dead? I've never understood that.
Yeah,
so this guy was like twice dead almost.
Yeah, the previous record holder, also from Oregon. I don't know if that tells you anything about the state, but rains a lot, drinks a lot. I don't know. They were like 0.772 or 0.7 something, and they were unconscious for 12 hours, but came through, survived. So this guy, I don't know, miracle, or maybe he chugged a lot before. So one of my friends used to have a breathalyzer, and you could take one sip, and if you did it pretty quick, it would register really high. So if you've had a recent drink in your mouth, it would register like higher than what it would if you waited like 5 more minutes, right?
Gotcha.
So maybe this is a recency, like if the guy was drinking and driving, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he saw
it's a little higher than.
He knew he was going to get pulled over, so he was like, "Fuck it, one more." We'll just rip a shot right. Like as the cops were pulling him over, yeah, he was like, "Whatever, sure. I know I'm going to go to jail anyway. Might as well enjoy it."
I don't know if it was this guy or the previous record holder, but 56 shots is what one of them did.
I don't believe you. No, that can't be true. That just
That's
can't
like
be true.
That's like the girl at the party, and like, I don't know if they ever did this. You're like tracking their shots. Like, I did 17 shots. They're like marking it on their arm. You're like,
yeah, they have like,
know?
It's like,
did you?
Like, that's cool because no, you fucking didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if
17
you did that,
shots. I mean, it had to be something like Malibu. Yes, you could do 17 shots of Malibu because it's not like actual alcohol.
I just did 17 buttery nipples. What do you got?
Right, yeah, okay, sure, those shots be like, just like ripping a shot of vodka or a shot of whiskey. Like, no, you can't do 17 of those. I couldn't do 17 of those.
You couldn't do 5 of those and not regret it.
Well, you know, my bar for regret's pretty high. I can do a lot. I can do a lot and not regret it. So.
Regret's a relative term.
Right.
Tyler's going to take a shot right now. Look at him. He's looking around.
He's trying to find one.
I couldn't find a good spot to podcast, and I'm on a different floor right now. And I went into an office, and I was like, well, if I'm putting on this shirt, like somebody can see me. Hence why I'm in like this back door office. I don't know.
Right, the door right there. No one can see you if they just peek in.
Yeah, I didn't like having my back to the door. I really didn't like
we'll
that.
We'll let you know if somebody comes in.
Yeah, I guess I can see. That's a good point.
Yeah. Look busy. Pull up an Excel sheet.
Take a moment of recognition to give Tyler a shout out for podcasting at work every week.
Yeah.
But back to drinking on the job. Who has anybody have a good story on, heavy drinking? I think is where I was going with this, maybe.
I mean, how much time do we have?
Yeah, you said. See, here's the problem: is you said initially, you told us like, let's do maybe a travel bar story, and maybe that's like makes it a little like briefer. Like that's where we get into a hole where this is going to be a 6-hour conversation. I spent my whole career jumping around from college to college, so it's not going to be brief.
Yeah,
I do have one though that I came armed with to tell you about.
Yes.
So there was it was called the annual box party. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
It was a tradition at Ball State that still stands today. I think it's 10 years running at this point, where it's, and I double checked the rule book before I brought it here, so I'm going to read it to you. It's a team of 4 guys and 3 girls. And then you have a box of wine, 30 beers, and then 3 water bottles, one with rum, vodka, and tequila. First to finish wins.
Oh, I like this.
Usually about 50 minutes was the end time. No funnels, no shotgunning, none of that nonsense, just straight drinking. And I participated once, and a team finished in it was 50 minutes, and I was like, I've had 4 beers and 2 shots, guys. And you just down the whole thing. I don't know. So it was. I mean, there were referees and everything. There's penalties. If you cheat at all, you have to wait 5 minutes and then go. If you throw up, you got a 5-minute penalty, that kind of thing, or you get beers added back. So that was my favorite tradition.
Nice. We did something similar. It wasn't to that extent, but we did fifth in a date. Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah.
Handcuff party? Yeah, you're handcuffed to somebody, you and your date till you finish a fifth. So that's always a good time. I think, our record was usually 11 minutes or something crazy.
Oh, I did Goldschlager the first time I did that. And I was like, that was a mistake.
Yeah, the first time we ever did it, the girl I was with was determined to win. So she fucking chugged it. And when we were done, we won. I wasn't even drunk. So I think she passed out and I just kept partying. But it was
to drag her around.
Once you finish, you can be unhandcuffed. You just have to be handcuffed till you finish it. But yeah, so she had a not very fun rest of the night. I was like, well, I'm not even that drunk, so I think I'm just gonna keep going.
I carry on. Well, Kyle, you got me there. I did 3 of those in my day, and all 3 I was with another dude. So you're good.
It's all right. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Bros before hoes, right?
if I'm playing that, I want Kyle as my partner. So no.
That's why I loved it, because normally I'm not that attractive of a man, but when it comes to drinking challenges, people are like, I want that guy. I'm like, yeah, you do. I felt like a Greek god. It was great.
Tyler, you mentioned Ball State. I spent a fair amount of time there. A little bit weird. I didn't go away. In my opinion, is better. I didn't have the student debt, and I still had fun. So, but did you do IUPUC? Yeah. Yep.
IUPUI.
There you
go. So we would do Power Hour, which I know is popular with both of you guys, but I don't drink beer. So trying to shoot mixed drinks and Power Hour just doesn't go as well as a normal. The pop is really, it gets to you after a while. I'm sure it's just like the beer when you're, at the beginning you're like, oh, this is boring, and then you're like, was that a real minute?
Yeah, that's actually one of them that I did think of if we had time, but for one of our friends' birthdays in college, it's actually our pal Andy Sider's sister, Jill. And one year for college, she always liked the idea of power hours too, but she didn't like beer. So it was one year for her birthday, she's like, can we do a wine power half hour or something? So we all got a bottle or 2 of wine and a shot of wine every minute for a half hour. And it was on a Wednesday. And it was one of the most sneaky drunk I've ever seen our house. As a collector, just all the people in it were smashed. One of my roommates at the time, God bless him, he was one of the nicest, still is one of the most nice guys in the world. I think he was 20 at the time. I was 22. So he was like, this is the first time any of us had ever had wine. We're all just dudes drinking Keystone Light and cheap whiskey. We don't know anything about wine. So first off, it took I think we had a giant whiteboard on the wall trying to plan out what kind of wines we were going to drink. And he found some article that was I think it's supposed to be something how you drink your coffee. It says what kind of wine you should. He's like, well, I drink my coffee blacks, and it says I should get red wine. So just give me a bottle of red wine. So I did. I went and got a bottle of red wine, and it was the gross, strong, fancy red wine, and it was not good. But God bless him, he drank it, and it was afterwards. What ensued was the most polite, but also one of the most vicious pukes I've ever seen. We were sitting on the couch. He just throws back the last shot. All of a sudden, he just looks around, and goes, "Pardon me," and stands up, walks outside, and projectile vomits off our porch, and it was spectacular, to say the least. Yeah, it was just
people thought there's an exorcism going on,
right? It projectiled off our porch, but he was just "Pardon me," stood up, walked outside very calmly, and then just exploded.
Have you ever
I would have
seen
went with Boone's Farm if I were thinking.
Yeah, turns out that didn't count as wine because I remember that's when I discovered that liquor stores do like to buy 6 bottles of wine, you get 10% off or something. Most places do that, and I was like, "Does Boone's Farm count?" They're like, no, technically that's a malt beverage, not wine. So,
Are you familiar with?
Technically, that's Kool-Aid.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. Are you familiar with the big glass jugs of sangria at the store?
Yeah, they got like the loop in them, I think.
Yeah, they got a little loop.
Yeah, those guys. Yep.
So at one point we have the Rossi challenge because it's called like Carlos Rossi sangria, and it's in that big, whatever it is. I don't know how many gallons it is. Maybe let's say 1 gallon. And so my buddy like made this up on the spot, made me think it was this big challenge. I was like, let's do it. Like, me and you got to finish this. Okay, we'll do it. So we drank a gallon of sangria between us, and it is the worst I've ever felt. Like the next day, like it was like never again.
Those wine hangovers suck. I don't know how people do it.
They're the worst.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I could go on for days about lots of heavy drinking stories, but I don't know. My favorite one that involved me and Tyler was the night that a historic night in the world. It was when, have we told the story before, when Virginia got upset by UMBC? Have you ever heard this story, Luke?
No.
Okay.
I thought this might be the New Year's Eve story this year.
No, we drank plenty that day, but it pales in comparison to the upset of our lifetime as a 16 seed beating a 1 seed. So the story goes, it was a Friday.
Go ahead.
It was a Friday night during, and Tyler, feel free to hop in at any moment to add. So it was a Friday night during our first busy season at BKD. And so we were trying to be responsible. We grabbed a few beers after work, but then we actually went to the arcade at the mall because we were like, we don't want to get super drunk tonight. We're going to have to work tomorrow. So, we're at the arcade having a good time. It is a lot of fun. And then we were getting ready to leave and we get an alert and it's like, start of the second half, UMBC leading number 1 Virginia by like 5 points or 10 points or whatever. And we were like, holy shit, is this got to happen? Like, we can't just go to bed now. Like, I think everyone else in the group had left and it was just me and Tyler. And we were like, we got to get somewhere and watch this. And I don't know how it happened, but somehow we settled on Nine Irish Brothers, an Irish bar in Indianapolis. And we were like, sure, let's go. So we get an Uber. We're on our way there, and our Uber is like swerving all over the place. We're like, what the fuck's going on up there? And he all of a sudden lifts his phone up and goes, sorry, guys, watching this game. And it was the Virginia UMBC. We're like, well, hold it up. We're watching too. So then he finally straightens the car out. He's holding his phone up, so we're all watching it. We get there. And I don't know if you've ever been to Nine Irish, heard of Nine Irish. Luke, have you ever heard of an Irish car bomb?
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of their thing. And me and Tyler both happen to be big fans of them. So as soon as we get in, boom, 1 Irish car bomb. I'm like, well, we're here. We have to do 1. So we do 1. And then, the game keeps going crazy. We're like, man, are we going to watch a 16 beat a 1 seed? If we do that, we got to do another car bomb. So then, like, I think like we said, we watched most of the game, maybe the second half, and like
second half.
We're casually sipping on some Guinnesses ourselves, and then like they beat them. It's like, oh, we got to do another car bomb, and then that one turned into like 2 or 3 more, and then we were just ripping car bombs. It ended up just me and Tyler just wandering around Indy, hopping into any bar we could find, and yelling about a 16 seed beating a 1 seed and getting hammered. And work the next day was not a good time.
And I'll tell you the best part about work the next day is I'm in a conference room. And I'm like sweating. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt that's a little bit wrinkled.
We all thought we were funny and wore Hawaiian shirts to the office on Saturdays. And turns out that loses some of its charm when you smell like whiskey.
Oh, it does. And Kyle comes storming into this conference room I'm in with the manager and somebody else. I forget what you said. You're like, hey, how you doing?
I was like, are you alive?
And
I burst in the door. Yeah, it's Tyler, like one of our other buddies. They're on the same job, and then this manager. And I just was drunkenly not thinking about my actions, just burst in. I was like, "Are you alive?"
And like she knew something was up before that, but then after that little episode, she was like, "All right." Then I ended up in the bathroom and just sat in there for about an hour and came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could certainly go for days on this. So, we'll mention this another time. This isn't the end. We'll bring up some fun stories as we continue down. I mean, it only makes sense to talk about what you're doing.
Right. I mean,
right? So I think that's it for a successful happy half hour here.
Yes.
Unless Kyle, do you have a money shot for us?
I mean, yeah, you mentioned bringing it back, so I
Yeah.
dabbled. Like we mentioned earlier, our editing team has been pretty swamped lately, so I didn't pick anything that might be happening anytime soon. But I looked at some college basketball futures and some that I really am interested in that I threw a little money on. So right now, I don't know what service all of our loyal listeners out there use, but on DraftKings here in Indiana, they have Gonzaga and Baylor versus the field. And it's plus 110 for Gonzaga or Baylor to win the national title. Number 1 and number 2, both teams are undefeated. Hammer that. They're by far the 2 best teams in the country. 3 and 4, Michigan, Ohio State had probably game of the year last Sunday. Those 2 playing each other, but they're so much worse than Gonzaga and Baylor, and they're 3 and 4. And so, I mean, getting positive odds on Gonzaga or Baylor to win the national title, I think is crazy. So yeah, I hammered that. Really, Gonzaga just overall, they're plus 275 to win the title, and I think they probably will. They're just so good. I know we get so accustomed to like seeing Gonzaga being good. Like, yeah, they're good. They don't play anybody, but like they played one of the toughest non-conference schedules in history this year and just swept the floor with people. They have 3 people in like the top 25 watch list for Player of the Year. They have 3 players on that watch list. So like, I mean, they really should have all like 3 guys first team All-American, and they're that good. They won't because that's unheard of. But Gonzaga is just so good this year, so I really love them winning it all. Which I mean, people hate to hear because it's chalk, they're number 1 overall seed, whatever. Yeah. But I mean, they just really are that much better than everybody this year.
Kyle, I don't want to step in front of your money shop, but out of principle, I just can't do it. I don't want.
I know, I get it. I know, right? Like it
I
seems
want something
so
special to happen.
I know, right? Because it's so boring. But like, think about it. Like, yeah, there are upsets along the way, but like the best team usually makes it, or like one of the best teams usually wins. Like, yeah, the upsets that we always remember are like 12 over a 5 or a 14 over a 3. Like, yeah, not very often does like the actual best team,
right?
It be like they still make it.
Kyle, let's not get into that too much because your enthusiasm just inspired me, and we will be doing a full-on special, maybe a live episode during March Madness because you guys, I mean, that's
I'm so pumped up. Like,
right?
It's after, like, when you look back and think on like COVID and sports, like the only sport that didn't end up having their championship was college basketball. Every other sport pushed things back and figured out that's the only one that we lost, and that's my favorite sport. I love college basketball. And like, just like every year in Indianapolis on the big JW Marriott, they put like a giant bracket on the side of it, and they started doing that this week. I went for a walk and saw it, and I'm just all amped up about college basketball. I'm so excited for it to have a tournament this year because we got robbed of it last year.
I just got chills hearing you talk about that.
I know.
Yeah, it's great.
And then one more bet that I saw out there, especially after last night, I think it'll entice a lot of people. IU to not make the tournament is plus 120. Just put Yes. IU to not make the tournament is plus 120.
Is that on DraftKings?
Yes.
Tyler just grabbed his phone.
He's going. It was like plus 210 before the game, or like plus 200 before the game against Rutgers last night, and then they lost, and it's like plus 120 now. I think that team has given up on Archie Miller, and he is out the door. And so, I mean, getting plus odds on IU to not make the tournament, not too bad. And as a Purdue fan, I get to now heavily root for IU to lose out.
Yeah, Kyle, you know how I am with these prop things. I might need you to hold my hand through this after the episode.
Yep. All right. So this is good. This is good because the listeners might need help getting there too. Okay. So you open up your DraftKings app.
I'm here.
Let me log in real quick. All right. So college basketball.
Okay.
Now you're gonna up at the top where it says game lines, player props. Slide all the way over to Selection Sunday.
Okay.
I was gonna walk the users through it, Kyle, but I forgot I can't stream my internet and my phone at the same time.
Oh shit! Right now, mine just has Providence on there, but look in there. Like, look at there during the day, because I think while games are going on, they kind of shut that down.
Okay.
Like,
so tomorrow
look tomorrow at like noon or 1, and then like while games aren't going on, and it'll probably have them in there.
Hey, tomorrow noon or 1 today, I hammered Miami of Ohio, the noon game, and 1. So, hey, there's stuff going on at noon, all right?
There was work slate, and you didn't tell me?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would love to get together and do something for the tournament.
Yeah, I'm actually
so amped up about it.
I just made up my mind. I will be coming to see you that day.
Okay, yes. It's weird though, because like the first weekend this year is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or what is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, no Thursday. They pushed it to Monday, which kind of sucks, really.
It's horseshit. I need that
It's like,
day of Thursday.
yeah,
I'm not getting it down.
like Mondays when you actually have. It's the one day a week where I do shit. So like I can't have games going on Monday. I need that to be my day to me, so I can actually get work done and goof off the rest of the week.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if that doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what will. So thank you, everyone.
No one suggested I give up gambling for Lent. I'm also not doing that.
No.
Upper table.
No. Thanks everybody for listening. We're gonna get these turned around right out to you. I'll have a talk with that editor of ours to make sure these aren't delayed anymore. But until next time, we'll be coming out to you next week with a bunch of fun stuff. So stay tuned and thanks for listening.
Bye. Beautiful. Beautiful.